Some weeks the world behaves itself. This is not one of those weeks. Tonight, the strange shows up with a vengeance in the middle of a real estate deal that feels like it's happening under a haunted spotlight. On a roadside where a mangled luxury car carries a story no gear, and deep inside laboratories where sound and sand reveal abilities our ancestors may have known long before we forgot them, and out in the New Mexico desert, where an unexpected fire touches ground already soaked in decades of whispered speculation. Old ghost legends starting to bend under new explanations, and new science begins sounding suspiciously like old magic. And a moment from Hollywood's past resurfaces to remind us that sometimes the line between storyteller and story gets very thin. If you came looking for the normal, you took a wrong turn, my friends. This is where the curious gather, the strange stack up, and the news starts looking back at you. Welcome to the Twilight Zone Paranormal 60 News Hour. Good evening, my darklings, and welcome back to the hallowed halls of the Paranormal 60 newsroom, which suspiciously looks like the same room I've been doing the show from every week, Monday and Wednesday. But nonetheless, we've got a lot of stories to share, including this one. Breaking news all the way from Lexington, Kentucky. December 14th, you can come out and meet the Paranormal Mysteries crew, Shane Pittman, Cindy Keza, and me, Dave Schrader, for an evening of paranormal mysteries and the Holzer Files. We're all going to be on hand at Comedy Off Broadway Comedy Club. That's Comedy Off Broadway. And you can find information about it on our websites at darknessevents.com. Darknessevents.com is the website. If you live in and around the Lexington, Kentucky area, just look up Comedy Off Broadway. Come on out. It's Sunday night. What else are you going to do on a Sunday night? Sit around twiddling your thumbs, picking up the mess of the weekend, or coming out and having a great paranormal mystery evening with three of your favorite paranormal investigators. I hope that's the decision you make, but if you don't, I forgive you. Let's get started. Greg, the paranormal detective, has the night off. He is dealing with a tumultuous car situation, and the one and only Chachi, well, he's out in Europe somewhere trekking about, seeking the true spirit of Christmas and holiday. So we'll find out a little bit more about that when he comes back in. So joining us now, though, ladies and gentlemen, he is America's greatest hero. You've read about him in the newspapers. You've seen his story play out time and time again when we revisit Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and All You Can Eat Crab Wings Day. Are there crab wings? Ladies and gentlemen, the Colonel is here with us again.
Hey, how's it going, Dave? I do regret the fact that I sent you that picture of myself when I had jaundice at its prime point.
I don't know what you're talking about. It just the color of your skin in this picture offsets beautifully against the scarlet red ribbons of the flag, the white majestic look, the blue patch with the stars, and the eagle appearing to fly into your ear. I think this is the image everybody comes to mind with when they think of
it does. My mind as well. Yeah, and so hey, great to be here. I feel bad that the other two gentlemen weren't able to join us, but I hear that someone else may actually be here that we also know very closely and very well, and I'm excited to hear who that person might be.
Should I start asking questions? How well do you know this person, Marty?
Not that well, but you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, Winnie here as well, host of Mysteries, Mayhem, and Merlot. You can hear her show right here on the Paranormal 60 network every Sunday night. Well, actually, I guess it comes out late Saturday night, but if you want to watch the video of it, you can watch it on Sundays. I'm glad to have you here with us, Winnie, tonight. Everybody else bailed out on us. You were, of course, our last choice. So I'm glad we're able to
I
fill in.
think
Man.
there was a chance.
What the heck? Yeah. It was either that or leaving her out front ringing the bell with the kettle, trying to collect change for the Schrader family poor home.
It's always an option.
Guys, huge news about to break in the paranormal world. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Well, we can't talk about it. We're going to do it next Monday, right here on the Paranormal 60. It is a Mystery Monday. I just made that up right now. It just popped in my head. It's a Mystery Monday, and it is going to be a big, big, big show that I hope everybody tunes in to check out. But we've got a lot of cool stories to share on this little program, this news junket. So let's dive right in. I thought we were done talking about this story, but apparently this story is the zombie of the paranormal world. It just keeps getting back up and refusing to be ignored. So we're heading out to Rhode Island. And for those of you looking at the image, you recognize what we're about to talk about. Tonight's first story takes us back to one of the most famous haunted homes on the planet, the Conjuring House in Burrillville, Rhode Island. And this time, believe it or not, the drama isn't about ghosts. It's about a lawsuit. Now, according to a new filing in Rhode Island State Court, Elizabeth Greenhall is suing on behalf of her younger sister, Jacqueline Nunez, the current owner of the Conjuring House. Now, Nunez, through her company Balefire LLC, bought the property back in 2022 for about $1.525 million and ran it as a paranormal tourist destination. Then, after having a little run-in with the law and some strange activity from the owner, the town declined to renew the entertainment license in late 2024. The business then was forced to default on its mortgage, and the house ended up in serious financial trouble. Now, the lawsuit claims that the home has been, or soon will be, sold for $1.3 million, which the complaint argues is below fair market value, especially for a location that's become internationally known and recognized because of its Tale with the Conjuring movie series, right? So, why is Ghost Hunters Jason Hawes named in this lawsuit? It's a good question, Marty, and I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah, sure.
According to the court documents, Jason Hawes is listed as the buyer of the property. He had publicly raised money through a GoFundMe campaign to save the Conjuring House after it was expected to go to auction, telling supporters the goal was to preserve the location and keep it accessible to the paranormal community. The lawsuit doesn't accuse Hawes of a crime, just to make that clear. Instead, it questions the legitimacy of the sale itself, arguing that Jacqueline Nunez, the current owner, has been struggling with very serious mental health issues and lacked the capacity to fully understand the nature and consequences of selling the house at that price. Now, another key figure is Julia DeMay. She is a woman to whom Nunez granted limited power of attorney so that DeMay could help complete the sale to Hawes. The suit claims that Nunez's condition at the time that arrangement and the resulting sale took place should be very scrutinized by the court. So what you've got here is a legendary haunted house, an owner whose sister says she wasn't in the right mental place to make this big of a financial decision. You got a well-known paranormal investigator stepping in as the intended buyer, and a legal battle over whether the deal should stand at all. And nobody in the story needs to be painted as a villain. I want to make sure we're clear of that. You have a sister just trying to protect her sibling. You have a buyer trying to secure one of the most famous paranormal properties in the world, and a house that just can't seem to stay out of the spotlight, spiritually or legally. So in a way, it's kind of fitting that the Conjuring House perfectly sits situated in this crosshairs of the strange and the surreal once again. Even when the spirits are quiet, the place still seems to be stirring up a lot of conflict, testing loyalties and pulling people into its orbit. So we're going to keep an eye on what the court decides, because at this point, the big question isn't just, is the Conjuring House haunted? It's who really gets to control a place that so many people feel connected to emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And this story, like I said, just keeps coming back up over and over because of all of the strange twists and turns. I mean, there might be a whole nother Conjuring movie series in the works because of how strange this whole situation has gotten. But, you know, $1.525 million is what she purchased it for 3 years ago. She's
Hmm.
now trying to remove herself from this. She's taking a bit of a loss. I understand, again, you have a sister who's trying to keep an eye on her, make sure that she doesn't do anything that's going to financially hurt her. But we also don't know how much money she made in the 2.5 years she did run the property. And it may have been that she's recouped enough that, the discounted price she gave to Hawes was just, let me get out of this. Let me shut it down, because she obviously can't afford to keep the house, afford to continue doing what she's doing. But I think the biggest question still remains: the town revoked the entertainment license. They revoked the opportunity to allow people to go in and investigate. And there's been no word. I mean, I'm sure Jason has done his due diligence, or Matt Rife, or whoever it is that's actually trying to buy the house. But I wonder if the city, because of all the drama that keeps happening around this house, and it's not just this, they have problems with invaders all the time, people trying to break into the house, sneaking onto the property in off hours in the middle of the night, doing strange rituals on the property as well. I wonder if it would just behoove that town to just say enough's enough, like they did with the Amityville house.
Right. Yeah. It's very weird. And, my mortgage brain is kicking in. One of the questions was like Matt Rife and, sorry.
My mortgage brain.
No,
Yes,
well,
please
they're
go.
like, "Oh, didn't they buy it?" Well, yes, they own the debt, what is owed on the house. So they have that, and Haas was promised to have the property. So that's where the legalese is getting all twisted up. But if they can't procure the property as a tourist attraction, how are they gonna make their money back? I
I
mean,
don't know. That's
what would
that's
they do with
crazy.
it?
I don't
You
I
know.
know,
don't know.
Dave, my rental brain is kicking in, and
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, how long has this been going on now? You may have mentioned it earlier, but
Well,
it's
the
been.
the drama kicked in about a year and a half ago, and
Mhm.
between Jackie Nunez, the owner, she started having it appears. Again, I'm no doctor. My psychological brain has not kicked in, so I'm not here to streamline anybody with my medical degree. But it would appear that she was living a very unbalanced life, and now that they're talking about the medical mental situation she's been in, she was claiming people were stealing from her, and the ghosts in the house were telling her that. So she was firing people. She wasn't paying people. She was acting erratic and out of control. It's really kind of sad, because if you realize this person probably bought this house for the same reason many of us would, because of the love of the paranormal and to own such a historic landmark like this. And it begs that question. If you put yourself into a home that's known to be this haunted and has this kind of background, if you're already mentally fragile or a little unstable, did this push her over the edge, being immersed in this location for such,
Right.
even though it was a short period of time, if she was already teetering on the edge of sanity, you have to start questioning. We've been doing that on and off for years, whether the paranormal and investing your time and efforts into the paranormal can cause medical maladies. And there's been a lot of concern over that in many different ways, but mentally, certainly, I think that's something that we have to consider. So I know a lot
Mhm.
of you have taken the side of Jason Hawes because Jacqueline Nunez was attacking him verbally and attacking his daughter, Satori, and her fiance, Cody Ray Despiens. But let's also remain empathetic to the fact that this woman is battling a mental disease, and
Mhm.
her life and every mistake she made has now been drawn out into the public eye over the last 2 years. And it has cost her her home, her business, and her privacy. And again, I'm not painting anybody as a villain here. When you're caught up in the middle of it and don't realize that this person's just mentally unstable, you think they're just being vindictive and cruel. It's really tragic all the way around. And I hope whatever happens, I hope the Conjuring House remains a place that people can go to that revere the paranormal and have an interest in it and get a chance to investigate it and add new chapters to the book. But I hope that Jacqueline Nunez gets the help that she needs.
Yeah.
And that's where I just want to see. I don't want anybody being played out for, or being taken a fool or a sucker in any of this.
Yeah. I agree.
Definitely.
It's tough call though, right? I mean, I don't know. Do you you've been in a bunch of haunted places with me over the years, Colonel.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've also met a lot of people who have been entrenched in these locations for years. And some of them do seem to be bearing the mental scars of what they're dealing with. I
Right.
mean, if tomorrow, if somebody whispered in the colonel's ear and said, here's a price and you could afford it, would it make you step back and think twice before purchasing something like the Conjuring House?
Yeah, I mean, you're just not buying, a standard piece of property. I mean, there's things that have gone on there that have affected people's lives before you even got there, right?
Right.
And so, putting that on top of a piece of property. I mean, as you know, properties can be a crazy thing to begin with. Just the fact of buying a house and all the stuff you got to do to it, and you're kind of going crazy anyways trying to get it back up to where you want it to be. Throw this added aspect to it,
Right.
and it's just sometimes it's just too much for people.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. Well, we wish the best for everybody involved in this and hope that there's a fair and equitable solution. All right, everybody get your drinks ready. The Colonel's got a story.
Yeah, yeah, me
He's taking us
included.
deep into science for this one. So
Hmm.
we don't know what or what's going to happen with
A lot of
anything
big
that we're about
words in
to.
this too.
So
I'm
many.
taking a chance. I'm taking
Yeah.
a chance. I said, you know what? I can't keep this story to myself any longer. So,
Attaboy.
scientists
Yes.
levitate multiple objects with sound. And Dave and Winnie, it may change everything.
All right, hit us.
Yeah. Researchers in Austria just pulled off a breakthrough that feels more ancient mystery than modern physics. They figured out how to use sound waves to levitate multiple objects at once, stably, controllably, and without the whole thing collapsing. Normally, acoustic levitation only works with one object. Add more, and they slam together like cosmic bumper cars. But the
Hmm.
team discovered that giving each object a tiny electric charge keeps them separated. Suddenly, you got several particles hovering, or how we like to call in this show, hoovering in
Hoovering.
midair, held by nothing but sound.
Interesting.
This opens doors for micro assembly, robotics, material science, but it opens the one very old question. If sound can lift, move, and position objects with precision today, did ancient civilizations understand a version of this long before us? Is
Hmm.
this how massive stones were shifted? The way the Great Pyramids were created? I mean, you got to think about that. I
Yeah.
mean, there were stones in the pyramid that were from like 1,000 miles away, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Crazy
Yeah.
distance. Yeah.
Yeah, not aliens, but acoustics. We're not saying that's the answer, but discoveries like this make you wonder how much ancient knowledge we've forgotten and how much of it we're only just rediscovering. Dave?
Yeah. That's a great question. And you look at the fact that science and some of the different theologic experts out there, theologians, have discussed that the Ark of the Covenant very well could have been like an energy plant, like a portable generator. So imagine you're walking that through the desert, which is dry, arid place, right? At night it can be extremely cold. Both are conducive for electricity, right? And I wonder, did they figure out that by doing things a certain way, that creating an energy field like this by giving a small charge to those rocks and then using acoustics, they could hoover them and not have them slamming into each other. So maybe they were finding a way. And I've often thought too that when you look at monks and different religious sects and orders that seem to be able to build these incredible temples and things, and what do they all hold kind of as an important element to their religion is singing.
Yeah.
Everything from singing bowls to the Gregorian style chants that have you ever I don't know if you remember, Colonel, when we were out on one of our trips, they took us to a place and in the bottom of the castle, they said that the monks used to go there and perform these music rituals. And just jokingly, I started humming a real deep baritone, and you could feel the vibration in that room. And I thought, that's one voice. If you've got 20 monks, 100 monks, and they're all Can you create an energy that then allows you to start to manipulate the rocks in a way that allows you to position them? And then when you stop or step down the hum, it rests. It sounds absurd to a degree, but I've thought for a long time they've got to be utilizing, and acoustics to me makes the most sense that that may be what was going on, even if it was our alien friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people talk about how the alien ship, when it's over them, it seems like there's no sound.
Yeah.
People on the outskirts will sometimes hear a loud hum or a vibrating noise. So I wonder if, like, when you're under the craft, if you are in kind of a bell jar, if you're in the eye of the storm, so you're not hearing it because you're part of the vibrational tonality. And as it moves on, that's what's affecting electricity, your phones, different things like that. There are so many elements to this that excite me that
Yeah.
I'd love to continue to dive into it. And for this story, we should have brought our buddy Mark Lanou in here, because that's his jam: sound and acoustics and science. Who knew?
Well,
Yeah.
and the thing is, Dave, on the flip side of that,
Mhm.
how about those videos of people that are hearing these really just god awful sounds coming in from, you really can't see anything. You just
Listen,
hear the sound.
Colonel, it's not polite to make fun of the K-pop singers. They're doing the best they can.
I know. I didn't want to go there, but yeah,
It's-
that's what I meant. And so, but and it's really crazy. So, I think obviously sound has a lot to do with things that are in some way being uh, changed in some way, right?
right. Well, they're using
Mm-hmm.
you can go for sound bath healing, which again, listen, I'm just being upfront and open. It sounded so stupid to me. You sit in a folding chair in some auditorium at a psychic fair, and they've got these speakers and gongs around you, and then they start warming everything up. And I'd watch from a distance, and from outside of the circle, I thought, this is the dumbest thing I've ever. Oh my God, a fool and his money are very soon parted. And then finally, I had somebody grab me, and they're like, I want you to just sit in here and just hear it. It's a totally different environment when you're in it. The
Right.
vibration and tonality, you literally feel almost like when you've had a great stretch in the morning and you're
Mhm.
like, oh, and when you finish, you just feel like you're a foot taller.
Right.
Yeah.
That was kind of what I was feeling in the midst of this vibrational tonal bath. And I was like, wow, this feels like it's. So again, are they using the acoustics of these? Is it opening up blood vessels? Is it lifting vertebra? Is it
Who
focusing? I
knows?
think
Yeah.
there's so much that we still have to explore with this, and I would love to figure out a way to start to manipulate that in a way that's safe, that
Mhm.
won't have ill effects on the rest of our body. But
Mhm.
we know, dude, how many times have any of the three of us been in a deep dark funk, and then you put on a song
Yep.
and something about that song, and you just keep replaying the song?
Mhm.
Replaying the song. I just read an article, I kid you not, probably a week ago, talking about the fact that the reason we play songs over and over and over again, we like to think, oh, it's because it's so melodic and beautifully written. Your body is craving a certain vibrational tone.
Right.
Mhm.
And you'll listen to it, listen to it, listen to it, and all of a sudden you just don't want to listen to it anymore. It's like you've re-upped the ante, you've filled that tank, and now you can move on. And I
And going
think about that.
and going along that lines, certain bands have learned to master certain notes that affect individuals.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The Beatles were very famous for their minors, their minor
It was
notes.
Van
And
Halen, and it got him arrested almost.
yeah, exactly. There again. And so, but there's just those, I think music, definitely music has a certain, reaction. The human body has a reaction to that, to the notes. Obviously.
Yeah.
Why is one song better than the other, or why do we feel one song's better than the other? Right.
Again, maybe there's just something tonality that's feeding an energy source within us. I
Right.
will say this, everybody always jokes about Barry White opening up some loving for people, right? There
Right.
was, I will tell you, the Enigma album, I don't even know what the name of it is. It was like MCMLXXI or something. That Enigma album hit in about, I want to say like 87, 88. 89. And I remember guys in college pumping that up. And I'm like, what kind of goofball are you listening to this? But again, it was one of those that when I was at a house party and this guy was blowing it out through the speakers, I dug it. It was like, oh yeah, this is opening up something. Like
Right.
it was a weird switch that flipped in people, and it got very erotic very quickly for a lot of people. And I literally sat there going, what am I watching?
I've got to buy this in album, CD, and cassette format.
Yeah. And don't forget the download.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I listen to like 528 hertz, like kind of like meditation music, but that 528 hertz is specific to cell repair in your
Mm.
body. So it's like there is something with sound. Now, if it comes to ancient cultures and civilizations using it, but it's like, what did they use to create such a powerful enough acoustic to lift it? And you also mentioned monks. Well, where do monks where do they live? They live in the Tibetan mountains. So
Well,
they
that's
could
one
very
place. Yeah, there are
but
many
they
different
a lot
types of monks. Yeah.
but, like, I could see them utilizing the acoustics to carry the sound because that sound, it could get stronger if it's harnessed right. I don't know. It's a
Well,
very interesting theory.
imagine being out in a ship in the 1600s, and you're
Mhm.
just cruising along, trying to make it from the old world to the new world, when suddenly you hear the Galler horn of a Viking ship. You hear that, it is bone rattling. It is terrifying. It also
Mhm.
makes me wonder how many of the old sea monster stories come from something like that, hearing that Galler horn off in the distance,
Yeah.
hearing these, and I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, although that's what the Minnesota Vikings call it. So I feel like I'm in pretty good company of being wrong there.
You said it
Um,
right.
there's a lot of really interesting elements to that, and the walls of Jericho were brought down by those sounds as well, right? They
Yeah.
may have learned in the Bible how to utilize acoustics to weaken foundations and make them crumble. So I don't it's cool. It's fascinating. We have to do this. We have to take a quick break. We come back, believe it or not, Winnie gets to talk. We're going to let her
Yay,
share her
Winnie.
story. She's got a lot to share with us, but before that, we're going to do this. You know, my darklings, December moves pretty fast. All the outings, the parties, the shopping, the travel, the did we actually wrap everything chaos? But once the noise dies down, there's always that one moment that I look forward to most. Slowing down, cozying up, and just being present with the people I love. And that's exactly why I keep going back to Cozy Earth. Their bamboo sheets, made from viscose from bamboo, are the best gift of better sleep I've ever given, and the best gift I've ever given myself. They're incredibly soft. They sleep cooler, and falling into bed feel like you're slipping into a luxury retreat. And if you've got someone on your list who desperately needs rest, or if that someone is you, this is the gift that says, take a breath. You deserve this. And then there's the bubble cuddle blanket. I've told you about this. If you want to give a gift that feels more like an experience than a product, like a hug that they can feel from you any time of year, this is the gift. It's got that plush textured feel, just the right weight, and it turns any couch or bed into the coziest corner of the house. Snuggling by the fire, movie nights, maybe even a quiet moment on the couch. This blanket makes all of it better. It's comfort that lingers long after the holidays end. Plus, you get a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty. Think about that. Try returning any other bedding after using it for 3 months. That just ain't gonna happen. Cozy Earth stands behind every stitch. So here's the deal. Now, through December 12th, head to CozyEarth.com and use my code P60 for up to 40% off. And order by the 12th for guaranteed Christmas delivery. Listening after that, don't worry, my darklings, the code still works and it's going to get you 20% off year-round. And if you get that post-purchase survey, make sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here on the Paranormal 60. Again, CozyEarth.com. Use my code P60 for up to 40% off through December 12th, 20% off year-round. Give the gift of comfort that lasts beyond the holidays and carries you into a cozy new year. You know, the holidays aren't all joy and jingles. Behind the festive lights lies a shadowy history, and Jeff Belanger's Surviving Krampus and Other Yuletide Monsters, The Fright Before Christmas, is here to unwrap the history for you. This isn't your typical Christmas story. It's a fun, fascinating, and sometimes frightening deep dive into the forgotten folklore of the season. A world where Krampus isn't just a pop culture icon, but a devilish enforcer, ready to snatch naughty children. Where trolls, witches, and the Yule Cat stalk the snowy landscapes, and St. Nicholas's heavy-handed helpers bring more punishment than presents. Explore folklore from across the globe, from the elf-like Tomten to the terrifying Grilla, who drags the misbehaved to her mountain lair. Discover why the winter solstice, the darkest time of year, has always been a season to fear. Whether you're curling up by the fire or walking alone on a cold winter's night, The Fright Before Christmas will have you questioning every shadow. It's available in hardcover, audiobook, and CD, perfect for gifting to your favorite spooky season lover. So this holiday season, add a little more fright to your festive nights. Grab your copy of The Fright Before Christmas, available wherever you buy your favorite books, because nothing says Merry Christmas like a Yule Cat ready to pounce. Yes, the commercial's back, folks, and I'm sure I'm going to be getting all the emails about, you scared the hell out of my cat with that stupid ad. I think I found my favorite comment during our last segment, and I popped it up and saw it scrolling through. I love that TJ Davis 56 says, Dave's got like 56 kids. Apparently his radio voice hits the right hertz. LOL.
Yeah.
It hits and it hurts, because then I got 56 kids to raise. Very cool. Thank you all for tuning in and spending a little time with us. Let's see. Sarah Shaw says, happy Wednesday. Love you all, and drops $2 on us. Thanks very much, Sarah. We appreciate you as well. All right, Winifred, it is your turn to shine. You've got a news story taking us all the way back to Roswell. What's going on?
Yeah, well, major fire breaks out near Roswell's infamous Hangar 84. Now, a large commercial fire broke out late Thursday at the Roswell Air Center in New Mexico, and the location alone has people talking. The building that burned was part of the facility's old military installation, sitting on the same grounds as the legendary Hangar 84, long tied to the Roswell UFO incident in 1947. But according to the officials, the fire started around 7:55 p.m. Fire crews responded quickly, but the structure was still declared a total loss. No injuries, thank goodness, were reported, but the exact cause of the fire has yet to be determined, and the investigators are still sorting through what's left of the building. Now, here's the part that has the UFO world buzzing. Nothing in the report says the particular building had any connection to the original Roswell debris, or that anything historically significant was inside. But the moment people heard fire and Roswell Air Center in the same sentence, speculation erupted. Hangar 84 has been a fixture in the UFO lore for decades, often cited as the place where crash debris and some versions' bodies were allegedly stored back in 1947. So when a building on the same property suddenly goes up in flames, people naturally start asking questions, even if the official version so far is simple. A fire happened, a building burned, no cause known, no confirmed connection to the past.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Still, you can't deny the strange timing or the strange optics. A sudden blaze lighting up the night sky at one of the most myth-soaked locations in UFO history. Coincidence? Probably. But in Roswell, coincidences tend to come with an asterisk.
That is true. Very strange. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love when these historic sites suddenly something major happens to force them back into the spotlight. It'll be interesting to see, with the damage that was done there, was it a controlled burn? Was it able to be contained quickly? And if so, did something get out? Did something get in? Or were they burning evidence and getting ready to move from that site? Colonel,
Wow.
you're a military guy. I don't know if people that are just tuning in know this about you, but you are America's greatest hero, the Colonel, and you know things about the military. I mean, it's not out of the question for the military to just raise a place to the ground, right, when they're leaving, so that there's nothing left, no secrets hidden in the
Well,
vaults that might be forgotten about. So it's better just to burn it to the ground.
well, I mean, usually that's in a combat area, but I mean, and the thing is, what is a little concerning is if I mean, generally, most businesses and companies are uh, pretty. They're always wanting to make sure things are kept from catching on fire in some way or
Right,
another, right?
right.
I mean, it's even more so in the military. I mean, you have special areas that you can only take burn related stuff. You're not ever supposed to smoke by them or anything like that. And so for something to catch on fire, it's kind of surprising that it actually happened. Not saying that it was happened intentionally, but the fact that it did happen is somewhat surprising.
Are we going to be surprised when they say, "Damn it, that's where the Epstein files were being kept"?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm
You
just
never
hey,
know.
don't get on me, folks. This isn't a political rhetoric. That's just funny to me that I
Yeah,
wouldn't. The conspiracy theorists are going to start talking.
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
wouldn't
Start
put it
talking.
past.
But yeah,
But
you never
where the
know, right?
sprinklers? Don't they have
Yeah.
sprinklers in
Yeah,
these places?
I mean,
You
you
would
would
that
think
play
think.
they
that
would.
fire looked pretty uncontrolled and to paint
Yeah.
the picture. So yeah, it's a good
Well,
question.
they're in the desert. There's been a lot of drought issues. Maybe their water tank. Somebody was flushing at the same moment that the fire broke
Could have
out.
been
There just wasn't
exactly,
enough
yeah.
water.
Plus
Grass
pressure.
that day. That
Yeah,
day
I
was
don't.
the
Yeah.
grass watering day.
It's
You
like when
never
you're in the
know.
shower and then somebody flushes and the water cuts and it goes to ice cold on you.
Exactly.
So it very well could be that they're getting ready to put the fire out. Everybody flushed at the same
Yeah,
moment,
no
and
one
that
no one
screwed it.
used the bathroom for the next 30 minutes till we put this fire out.
That's right. Another strange mystery. And speaking of mysteries, mayhem, and Merlot, your home for all things strange, mysterious, and true crime. You can listen to Winnie as she hosts that show every week. And this week, you have a hell of a show lined up because you're kind of ripping off your husband's show, putting your fist in my pocket, and taking out paranormal stories that have to deal with true crime elements.
I'm not ashamed. I say it publicly that I ride your coattails. I do. But no, I have Ted Gregory on. He wrote the book Mary Jane's Ghost. And it's a lover's lane, kind of like the Zodiac. Somebody came up and took them out. This couple out, and it's so much weird stuff about the investigation. And what's surprising is that they did exhume her body 50
Right.
years later.
And
And what
there's
they found in
there's a
there,
spooky reason why,
yes,
right?
very
Yeah.
spooky reason, but I don't wanna give too much away. You gotta
Too
watch the
late. You've
episode.
already shot. Let's just take her off the air. She's done. She can't be
But yeah,
trusted.
make sure you tune it. It's a really cool story, and I've never heard of it. You brought it to my attention. I'm like, "Oh my gosh," and because 'cause they're my favorite. I call them my true crime with the
I don't know if
paranormal
I brought
twist.
it to your attention when you're going through my nightstand and looking at my books.
Sorry.
Whatever.
Uh,
6 and
Well,
1
that's
Winnie,
half
Winnie,
dozen
guess
of
who I'm
those.
going to have next week on the show?
Yeah.
Really? Huh? Do you have his number?
All right,
We'll do it.
let's dig in. We've got more stories to cover, more stories to share, and this is another interesting one. Humans may have a secret remote touch. New research out of London suggests that humans might possess a previously unrecognized sense, a kind of remote viewing for the touch, allowing us to detect buried objects without ever making direct contact. Now, in a recent study, 12 volunteers were asked to run their fingers gently through sand and try to sense if a small cube was buried below the surface. Remarkably, participants were able to identify the hidden object with about a 70% accuracy simply by feeling minute displacements in the sand, spots where the grains shifted in a subtle way around the buried cube. That level of precision, the researchers say, mirrors the remote touch abilities seen in certain shorebirds like sandpipers, even though humans don't have the specialized beaks that those birds use. So, for comparison, they had a robot equipped with a tactile sensor designed to mimic human fingertip movements. It managed to detect the buried objects a little farther away, but its success rate was only about 40%. That's 30% less than the human element. And it produced a lot more false positives. So what does this mean? On one level, it's really kind of a fascinating expansion could do, a sense that works without direct contact through granular materials. On another more speculative level, it raises the question whether our intuitive gut sense or subconscious awareness of hidden things is grounded not just in psychology or superstition, but in a very real physical reality. So, if we can detect what's buried under sand simply by running our fingers over the top of the sand, maybe our senses are more layered than we ever realized. And I think that almost plays in beautifully with the acoustic story we talked about earlier, because
Mhm.
remember, they stimulated sand with electric charge and small rocks. And then using the acoustics, they were able to manipulate them and make them hoover. So we are an electric source. And if we're, most sand is near a watery surface, things like that. I just wonder, do we become more conducive? So you see all those goofballs out there with their metal detectors, of which I have 2 in the closet. So
I was
proof
gonna say,
proof
like
of
you.
proof of uh,
When he's like, should I
really,
say
or
something?
can we just see? I would rather use I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been to a few beaches, and I would rather run a metal detector over the sand than my hand.
Yeah.
Oh, first of all, there's sand lice. I don't know if you've heard about this, Marty. Remember
Yeah.
when we were kids, when we used to bury ourselves up to our neck and we'd be all like, oh, and then you put the sand buckets to make them look like boobs on your buddy, right? That was fun. You can't
Yeah,
do
of
that
course.
anymore. There's like sand lice.
When did
People are
that
getting
happen?
mites and I don't know. Radioactive after Roswell? I don't know.
And
I
then the
can't tell.
building burns? What?
Yes,
It's all connected, Dave.
it is all connected, man. I'm
Yeah.
watching it like a spider web.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And fleas.
Yeah, and, yeah, sand fleas. So it's so gross.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so gross, but I wouldn't wanna
Yeah.
touch it, but I'm glad I do have my, still boxed metal detectors. Why? Because they're so good. They've detected metal in my house. They're right up against the iron bars that I have them at. So, I do wanna get them out and start searching for treasure. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you, people ask, "Why don't you do any more true crime shows, Dave?" I burned out, man. It affected me. Winnie can attest to this. I
Yes.
told her when she said, "I'd like to do a podcast," I go, "Listen, people wanna hear more true crime and mysteries that I can't do." I burned out on it. It was just too horrific for me. Winnie's still young and fresh, and she's willing to let her mind be burned
Yeah.
out slowly. But like, I couldn't take my kids to the lake anymore and let them just swim in the lake because I just envisioned all the bodies at the bottom of the lake. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, all the horrible crimes that have taken place and mobsters. They're big in Minnesota, Marty. You don't even know mobsters. They're just dumping
Oh,
people
yeah,
in.
they're all over the
Yeah,
place. Yeah.
Ludafisk Larry
You
and
got
Hot
you
Dish Harry.
well, you got some big lakes from what I understand that
Yeah,
you could actually dump bodies into.
it's
So,
gross.
hey, yeah.
Like, I watched this, I can never remember the name of the damn organization, but these guys do volunteer work and they go out,
The
and
mafia?
they try no, but they
Oh,
try to
oh,
help find missing people, and they
oh.
go diving in lakes and places near water, that cars were last seen. And
Mm.
one of the towns they just found, they were like, "We're gonna go look for this." And they found in, like, this 1-mile stretch of water, they found over 19 vehicles that had been there over a span of 60 years.
Hey,
Yeah.
So
and that's the thing. I mean, you've been on a lake with the paranormal detective, right? And
yeah,
like, we're like, hey, we're gonna jump in the lake. Yeah, oh yeah, hell yeah. And he's like, I ain't going in there. I'm
yeah.
like, well, why not? He says, there's probably like 4 bodies in this lake alone. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stay here and drink another beer. Yeah.
I know. Well, I covered Lake Lanier in one of my when I was doing some of my episodes, and I was shocked of what in Georgia,
Hmm.
they mobsters, they still have the skeletons are still down there. And they have them chained to things now, so it's almost like it's an
They're
underwater
never
tour
going
attraction.
going like
It's it's
We actually
bizarre.
we actually have in Minnesota, Marty, we have a place that's called Crystal Lake, and they have
Yep.
sunk
I've
a
heard of that place.
full-size they've sunk a full-size Jason Voorhees statue down
Are
there
you
with the chain
serious?
and the cinder block like they did
Or
at
he's
the
kind of
end of
waiting to break
Yeah.
free again.
Yeah,
So
there's
so
many crystal lakes in Minnesota,
it's
actually. We have
free.
4.
Okay, thanks for the over explanation. Let's just in Crystal Lake, you can go in there and go diving, and these people have stumbled upon it. They go diving, and then all of a sudden, out of the water is the
They're just
skeletal
freaking going
remains of
crazy.
Jason Voorhees hanging out at the bottom of the lake.
I'm just never going to take a nap in a canoe in any of your lakes in
Never
Minnesota
should
again.
anyway.
Yeah.
Never, never. There's lake alligators. I've seen shows about it. All right. We got another story. Boy, this one, the Colonel, boy, you're going deep on this one. We're ghost lights and ghostly train encounters.
Well, you know, Dave, I'm very seldom on this show, and when I am, I want to bring out the big guns. And
You do.
this one is something I've been working on, and I thought you would be very interested in. Railroad ghost gets a scientific recheck. Can earthquakes explain a haunting light? In a strange twist that blurs folklore and geoscience, a formerly eerie ghost light on the track story has resurfaced, Dave.
Hmm.
Not because someone saw a ghost.
No?
No, because a scientist, one of those guys, might have found a natural explanation.
Boring. We don't
I
want
know.
natural explanations, but
I
all right,
know.
let's hear what they have to say.
If I had a film, I'd show you right now as they did in science class, but I don't. I'm going to have to read this to you.
All right.
The legend centers on a stretch of railroad in North Carolina near what was once known as Mako Station. Locals over decades reported seeing a lone figure, often described as a headless train conductor carrying a lantern, roaming the tracks late at night. Some called it a ghost, others a warning. Some said it was a restless soul forever bound to warn away oncoming trains.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so there's a lot of
Yeah.
guesstimates there. Now, according to a recent write up by Mashable, a
Mhm.
seismologist says that what decades of terrified travelers may have witnessed was not a ghost at all, but Dave, an earthquake induced light phenomena.
All right. Let's hear it.
I've never heard that before. This is how it works, Dave. Small seismic events can stir gases and shift materials underground, especially near rail beds or swampy terrain. Terran. That's what
Terran,
we
you
like to
say?
call it.
Yeah. We're
Terran.
gonna hoover over the Terran, the
Terran. Yes,
bumpy
Sounds
Terran. Yeah.
fancy.
those shifts cause light emitting reactions or
Wait.
disturbances.
Those what? Those
Those
shifts?
those shifts.
Okay. Make sure you say that word a little more clearly
Yeah.
next time.
Those shifts
Yeah. Uh-huh.
could cause light emitting reactions or disturbances that, under the right atmospheric conditions, appear like glowing figures moving along the tracks.
Huh.
And over
Okay.
time, Dave, repeated sightings of glowing lights or moving lantern like shapes may have been interpreted as a ghostly conductor, even though the origin was natural and geological. So, this isn't a story about proving ghosts are wrong. It's about asking a different question. Could some of the things we call paranormal actually come from the earth itself? From tectonic creaks, subterranean pressure, or swamps breathing beneath the soil? As of now, there's no definitive verdict.
Wait,
Yeah, but
see,
God, I'm
What?
going to drink on that one.
deductive verdict or definitive verdict.
There ain't no verdict, Dave.
None of them. Any of those kinds.
None of the previous types of verdicts. No public data confirm that every lantern on the track story is geological, but this new theory reminds us sometimes the weirdest legends might begin with forces older than human fear. And that last sentence,
Yes.
I shouldn't have written it, but I did, and it's not good.
I
If
thought you were going
nothing
to hit it
else,
with feces, but I'm glad you were able
I
to pull out
know
horses. Yeah.
forces, yeah.
Yeah.
If nothing else, Dave, it's a solid reminder that reality, geological, haunted, or somewhere in between, often holds more twist than any ghost story.
So listen, I'm not quite sure I'm buying into this new theory because I've heard about the Pauling lights and some of those deals, and there's always been the theory that it's ball lightning and it's geological in nature. But I posit this, and again, this is where my limited scientific brain kicks in. Um, couldn't geologic emissions perhaps give a template of energy for something to be seen? Like if I'm sitting here with a movie projector and I'm firing it across the room, but there's no screen, it'll just go through the window and outside, right? And it
Right.
probably will dissipate because I'm not close enough anything. But if I ran a sheet of water down in front of me, the sheet of water suddenly becomes a template that the image can appear on. And I
Right.
don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's really cool. There are a few that have
Yeah.
shot movies, and you can watch them on a sheet of water. It's really, really cool. But my thought is, what if these geologic principles, the geomagnetic force, is releasing an energy or gases that makes it become visible in our spectrum?
Right.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
mean,
I'm
yeah.
not a bright man.
I've
Yeah,
been in that area, and it's in the in the foothills and in the Appalachian Mountains, you do have there's so many different types of terrain. You have rock terrain, and then it goes to, like, swamp
right.
to so I could see some of the geological spaces in those areas could cause some type of environmental thing, an anomaly that would cause
A
the
what?
lights an
Here-
anomaly.
Ooh, get your drink ready, Colonel. She said an
An
anomaly.
anomaly.
Phenomena. Do, 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 do.
My
Uh,
Minnesota mouth.
yeah,
But, yeah,
Where's your beverage there, Mr. Schrader?
it's right here.
Oh,
Right here.
all right, here we go.
oh,
Oh, geez.
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah. I'm at
But
my
yeah,
parents' house, Marty. I can't be drinking.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
We shouldn't even said
Just go to
anything
Lake
about that.
Cabin.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find that really interesting. I could see something like that causing like little blips of energy, maybe just kind of flame up. I don't know, but I
Yeah.
could see it happening in that area because of the different
Oh, yeah. Out by
aspects
North
of the
Carolina, South Carolina, you got the Brown Mountain Lights. And I've seen some footage that it doesn't
as
seem, they call it the Brown Mountain Lights. I can't even say mountain right. Brown Mountain Moose.
I'm drinking to that.
Right. Geez,
I
I
hope
don't, I
everyone
don't
else
need to
is.
drink tonight. Maybe I should stop crushing the cans against my forehead. That might be what's causing
That could be it. Yeah.
the trauma. But I've seen the footage. They also call it Will o' the Wisp, where these lights. But I've seen them move, and they're like sometimes they almost look like they're playing tag and
Mhm.
zipping around, and then they'll shoot off. It seems more intelligent than just a gas phenomena releasing. And I know quite a bit about gas phenomena releasing.
I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah.
Let's take a quick break.
And
We'll come back, and we've got some good news for you folks. Florida Man is back. Because Winnie's here, she's brought us a Florida Man story
no,
that you
Winnie.
need to hear to believe, and we'll do that next on the Paranormal 60 News.
Hello, Darklings and my fellow mind travelers. This is Mark Allen Lanou, the Gemini Mind. Come take a journey with me through this place we call life by picking up a copy of my book, Reality Was Once the Tapestry of the Dreamer. Available on Barnes & Noble and Amazon online. You can find the links also on my website, markallenlanou.com. Chock full of stories about organized crime, the paranormal, my music career, NASA, and more. So go pick up your copy, and you all rock. Indeed.
A new year is rapidly approaching, which means it's time to stop letting last year's chaos rent space in your head and in your heart. This is the season of new everything. New life, new love, new confidence, new jobs, and new chances to finally become the best version of you that you've dreamt of. And the universe, well, it's practically standing on your lawn with a giant cosmic boombox blasting messages meant just for you. You just need the right conduit. And that's where Love and Lotus Tarot with Winnie Schrader comes in. Winnie doesn't just read cards. She translates destiny. She helps you see the opportunities lining up, the patterns trying to repeat, and the new beginnings that are already forming behind the scenes. And right on the heels of New Year comes Valentine's Day, which means love is in the air, or at least it should be. And if your love life has been more like a blue screen of death error, romance not found, don't panic, my friends. The universe is already trying to nudge you in the right direction. The cards are ready to be shuffled. Your story is ready to turn the next page, and your next beginning is closer than you think. Book your reading now, or better yet, buy a reading for a friend. Visit lovelotustarot.com and start the year the way it deserves, with clarity, confidence, and maybe even finding a love that you deserve. That's lovelotustarot.com. Your destiny awaits. All right, welcome back to the program, Paranormal 60 News on the air. Big news coming next week, folks. You don't even have to wait till Wednesday. You're going to want to tune in. If you don't have it already circled on your calendar, circle Monday, the 15th of December, 2025, 9 o'clock Central, 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. We have an action-packed, holy beep show for you to tune into. You're not going to want to miss this. This is really wild, exciting news, and I can't wait to chat about it. Let's get back to it. The host of Mysteries, Mayhem, and Merlot is not just stealing from my show. She's now bringing a little taste of her show onto our program tonight. Colonel, are you ready for this?
I am ready, sir.
Florida bound.
right.
Here we go.
All right, the return of Florida, man. Deputies in Volusia County responded to what should have been a routine stolen vehicle crash, but Florida never does routine, right?
Right.
A BMW convertible was reported stolen from a local dog park. Now, here's where the owner made a mistake. He told deputies he left it unlocked and the key fob tucked into the closed cup holder while walking his dog. When he
Mhm.
returned, the car was gone. Not long after, though, it was found smashed and smoking after hitting speeds estimated over 100 miles per hour. Now, bystanders pulled the driver from the wreck before the car caught fire. That driver was identified as 36-year-old Calvin Curtis Johnson. And according to the arrest report, Johnson had a very unusual explanation for how he ended up behind the wheel. He claimed he teleported into the BMW. Not stole, not borrowed, not I found the car like this. Nope, Florida man was keeping it classy. He teleported. Deputies who have absolutely heard every excuse in the book still had to pause for this one. They noted there was no evidence of any teleportation event. There was, however, plenty of evidence that the BMW had been taken, driven at extreme speeds, and ultimately destroyed. Now, Johnson was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries and afterwards charged with grand theft of a motor vehicle and driving with a suspended license. No portals, no wormholes, no quantum tunneling here. Just a man, a BMW, and an excuse that would make even Doc Brown say, "Great Scott."
Your Honor, if it pleases the court, I would like to approach the bench. Dave Schrader, defense attorney at law, presiding. Your Honor, I would like to point out that the law enforcement, as they are so called in these parts of Volusia, how is it that they know what a true transportation moment would appear to be? A teleportation. Did they have out their Geiger counters, Your Honor? Did they go to the extent of checking to look for particle radiation entrenchment, Your Honor? Perhaps you don't even understand the words that are coming forth from my mouth. But I would like to posit this, Your Honor. If we do not throw this case out, it is a travesty of justice. I say a travesty of justice. Because my client, Mr. Johnson, all he was doing was walking along, licking an ice cream cone when he finds himself popped into the back seat of a car that he scrambles over the front seat and it takes off. How could he be held responsible? Are we sure this is not one of those smart cars? Maybe it was a car that was nothing more than what we might call one of those beta tester vehicles. And I demand that we find the answer before we imprison this man. Your Honor, I rest my case.
Wow.
Mhm.
I
argue that.
can't argue that, man. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think he needs to be set free tonight.
Me?
what-
I think I just set myself free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave Schrader, defense attorney at law. If you've got a crime too big, let me see what I can do to help you.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
What? I just try to see. In this case, you started off with your mortgage mind. Marty kicked in with his rental mind. I'm just going into my Matlock mind.
There you
I
go.
love it. I love it. Little Foghorn Leghorn meets Matlock.
Exactly. I say.
I'll say pay attention when I'm talking to you, Yana.
I love it when you do that.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's law. It's what I know.
It's law.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
shows.
it's like so natural. It comes out so natural that
It's
you're my
yeah,
attorney
it
if I
really
ever
is.
get in trouble. If
Oh,
I
yeah.
ever decide to steal a BMW and run it into a tree in Florida, you're the man I'm coming to.
Your Honor, I say let us try to reverse the polarity of the dilithium crystals and let it show that this is not a crime. This is certainly a man in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I would like to know in the report they noted that there was no evidence of teleportation. What evidence would there be?
That's what
I
I
just
said during my
Teleportation?
dissertation.
I mean
Yeah.
Of teleportation or dissertation?
Both.
yeah, I mean
All right.
either,
So
but
let's do this. This is a little segment I've added recently, Marty. I don't know if you've been here for one of these, and it's called "It's News to Me," which means it's a
Yes.
story that's been around. People may have heard it, but it's news to me. And I want to share this one because it ties in with tonight's theme. And tonight's theme has been pretty weird, right? We've had everything from possibilities of ghosts to possibilities of acoustic trials that are moving giant boulders and could have helped build the Great Pyramids, could have maybe even helped create the very first White Castle. And those acoustics are still happening after eating White Castle, too, for those of you that are keeping strict notes. But this story takes us into the heart of the Twilight Zone, Martin. Were you a fan of that TV series, The Twilight Zone?
Yes, I was, sir. Very much so.
You know what? I said this with Winnie. We revisited Twilight Zone season 1, and we've been watching the original classics. And we just pop them in when we just need a little 22-minute mental break before going to bed. And they're beautifully written, they're beautifully crafted, great stories. And we can watch it now with a sense of nostalgia, looking back and seeing some of our favorite actors and actresses before they ever took off, before they were, Charles Bronson, Clint Eastwood, and so on and so forth, right?
Robert Redford.
Right.
Yep.
So that's such a cool little element. William Shatner was, I think, in 3 before he became the Shat, right?
Right.
So I think I figured out why every iteration since has not done well.
Right.
It's because we're reverse engineering the new episodes. Instead of just taking a brilliant story, hiring actors to portray these stories, we're putting in stunt casting, and we're casting William Shatner in a new episode. We're casting somebody. So instead of just people that you don't know, people that this very well could be like you're glimpsing into a window of a lost moment in time.
It makes it more believable.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're not taken out because Matthew Modine or Matthew McConaughey or Matthew Broderick are playing the lead role. I think that if they went back to the original concept of this and gave you that temporary suspension of disbelief because they're not riddling you with a very famous actor of its time, I think they would grow on people. I think people would enjoy the new stories. I think we're just too distracted by the celebrities playing those roles.
I agree.
In the new iterations, because the originals are brilliant and beautiful. And the only reason that we can look back at them nostalgia wise now is because to think, wow, nobody knew who Robert Redford was at this point.
Right.
Jackie Gleason was a comedian, and he's playing a very serious role in this episode. And Ed Wynn and just the Burgess Meredith before he was the Penguin, before he was in Of Mice and Men, before he was in Grumpy Old Men. You get to see this amazing episode, and it goes into the psyche of humanity, and it's more about the story, not the celebrity.
Well, and that's the thing, because of that, do you think that, like, let's say, example, if you had Matthew McConaughey on an episode of a new episode, people would be expecting him to act.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. And so when you have a brand new actor, they're not expecting anything. So they concentrate more on the story, right? They're concentrating on the story, which probably was the reason why it was successful before, because people were concentrating on the story. They weren't concentrating necessarily on the actors. Although the actors, a lot of them became, very well known.
Yeah.
But no, I agree totally.
Well, let's go into the heart of the Twilight Zone for our final story tonight That's News to Me. This isn't just a behind the scenes story. It's one of those like really rare moments where the Twilight Zone, the show built on irony, mystery, and cosmic curveballs, seemed to fall headfirst into its own script. And it happened during the filming of The After Hours. So crew members were prepping the final scene, the big reveal where Anne Francis's character realizes she isn't human at all, but a mannequin briefly brought to life. A very Twilight Zone idea, right? But what happened that night was even more Twilight Zone than anything that ever made it onto television. Just as they were ready to shoot the climax, every light on the soundstage died at once. Total blackout. No warning, no flicker, no power outage anywhere else, just darkness on the set. And the backup generators, they hauled them in quickly. They would not start. Now, if Alfred Hitchcock walked onto the stage, it would even give him the creeps. It was just very strange, right? Then came the next twist. The script pages, Anne Francis's final monologue, they vanished. She'd left them on the podium 1 minute, gone the next. In the dark, with flashlights sweeping the floor, the pages were nowhere to be found. This is the part where panic would normally set in, right? This is where the production shuts down. This is where a lesser creator says, well, we'll just try it again tomorrow. But we're talking about Rod frickin' Serling here.
Right.
Stands up from the corner, cigarette glowing like a signal flare in the dark, and said, strange things happen when you're telling stories about strange things. And instead of folding, instead of feeding into the fear creeping through the room, he asked for a single flashlight. He then sat down on the floor and rewrote the entire ending by hand, cross-legged, alone in the dark. No script,
Wow.
no light, just Rod Serling wrestling the moment into something meaningful. Anne Francis said it felt like watching a man wrestle with the universe. And she wasn't exaggerating, because what came next felt like the universe actually answered Rod Serling. The moment Serling finished those handwritten pages, the moment he finished and stood up, the lights came back on. Not from the generators, they just came back on. And the missing script pages were suddenly sitting neatly on a chair in the middle of the room, a place everyone swore had been empty just seconds before. And Serling didn't flinch. He didn't question it. He just smiled and said, sometimes stories move around on their own. Anne delivered the rewritten ending. I want to stay a little longer. I liked being a person. And she did it with such heartbreak that the crew froze when the director called cut. No one moved. They knew they just witnessed something impossible. And it wasn't just acting. It was this perfect alchemy. And here's the most Twilight Zone twist of it all. Rod Serling's on-the-spot rewrite was better than the original. It was more emotional, more haunting, and more human. And it stayed. It became iconic. It became one of the great enduring endings of the entire series. So for one very strange night, the Twilight Zone did what it always promised to do. It blurred the line between story and storyteller, between fiction and reality, between the world Rod Serling invented and the one he was standing in. And that's news to me, my friends. I thought that was just a cool story that I came upon today.
Yeah.
And to share that, I love when we can dig deep into the annals of entertainment history and uncover things that we just didn't know. And especially when it has to do with something so powerful like the original Twilight Zone series. So
Yeah.
He was
that's
he was
awesome.
amazing though. I've heard things about what he did on that show behind the scenes that was just amazing. We probably need to have another show about that. That'd be awesome.
I agree. Well, that's it for this week for this show. But remember, Mysteries, Mayhem, and Merlot, you can watch the video Sunday nights on right here on the Paranormal 60 YouTube channel. You can watch it over on the Mysteries, Mayhem, and Merlot YouTube channel. And I tell you, go subscribe over there so you never miss an episode. You can also subscribe to the Paranormal 60 audio network, our Paranormal 60 network, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And Winnie's show releases Saturday on that. So you'll be able to hear her episodes. And this week, she dabbles in true crime and the paranormal. They come together in a very Twilight Zone-y way. It's a great one. So, Winnie, thanks for stopping in tonight and being a part of the program. Colonel, I know we had to take you away from all the amazing things that you do for our great country. And we thank you, sir. Thank you for your work as being one of America's greatest heroes. And we look forward to seeing you again on the show in the future.
Thank you, sir. I love being here, and hopefully I'm invited back soon.
Yep, I'm sure of it. Greg, wherever you are, we hope that things are going well with your car. And Chachi, enjoy the holidays over there overseas, and may you find all the miracles you've been looking for. Every week, we walk into the news thinking that we know what the world is made of. And every week, it reminds us we don't. Strangeness isn't hiding in the shadows. It's showing up in our courtrooms. I say in our courtrooms, in our laboratories, deserts, and the back roads of America. And it lives in the places we think are ordinary until they suddenly aren't. And maybe that's the point. The bizarre doesn't wait for permission. It just slips through the cracks and taps us on the shoulder. The universe hasn't run out of surprises, my friend, not even close. And I hope that the darkness of this world is just a little brighter with the information and the friendships and laughter that we share here every week with your favorite news team and the only news you need to know. We are the Paranormal 60 News. This episode was brought to you by Mysteries, Mayhem, and Merlot. Check it out every Sunday night live on the Mysteries, Mayhem, and Merlot YouTube channel.